All right, testing 1 2 1 2. I think we're up and running. We're live on twitch.tv. Let's make sure we're live for everything else. All right. We're live on Twitch TV. We got the recording going for the there we go. So we're seeing what we look like here. Welcome back, everybody. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. I know it's a late one. It is the Cycleshack podcast. What's up, everybody? It is Saturday, January 12th, 2019. Yup. The year went by real quick. 2018 is behind us. 2019 is here. Before we start, get in contact with the show. Check the email out right there. The Cycleshack podcast at gmail.com is where you can contact us. And we are live on twitch.tv. Thank you to twitch.tv. We are on iTunes, Google Podcasts. Where else? We're on a couple of places. Too many to name, that's for sure. So, all right, we're going to get rid of this feed here because it's kind of interrupting with things. Okay. I'm sorry, guys, if it's a little too bright. Working on the studio lighting here, and it's giving me a little bit of problems. It's a little too bright. So if I face the camera this way, it kind of makes my face a little bit bright. So I'm kind of trying to stay down. Just, again, I'm nothing to look at. There's really nothing to look at. This is more for audio than anything, so I just figured I'd throw a camera into the studio and get on twitch.tv. So thanks for joining, guys. It's the Cycleshack podcast, first show of the new year. It's been a crazy year. It's been a crazy week for me, especially. And not too much going on in the world of motorcycles, although this week something did happen. It's been an interesting couple of weeks before I get into it. Just trying to work out some bugs here, making sure all our feeds are on correctly as we're still on the testing phases here in the studio. Finished soundproof in the studio. And monitoring the stream chat here, making sure everything's going good. There we go. Perfect. All right. We're monitoring the chat, and we're going good. So, a lot of things happened. There was a lot of crazy news this week, last week, but I'm not really trying to bring it up for long, boring conversation on it. But before we get into it, I'm all over the place here. It took me a while to wrap my head on I had to do a show today, and I didn't have to. I've been trying to do this show since Tuesday, but you got to kind of be in the mood, kind of got to be into it. You got to get the flow going. So, thank you to the sponsors of the Cycleshack podcast. Of course, flipboard.com. Give them a check out. Go to flipboard.com. And anchor.fm, the easiest and only place to podcast. Check them out also. Plenty of podcasts available on anchor.fm. You can view, you can make an account, you can choose from thousands now. I want to say they're in the thousands now of podcasts to choose from and watch or actually listen to. I'm sorry, not watch. I say watch because I'm on twitch.tv right now, but for the most part, you can catch them on anchor.fm as well. And again, to contact the show, the Cycleshack Podcast at gmail.com, or give us a look on Facebook at the Cycleshack Podcast. Questions, comments, whatever you want. Send me pictures of your bike. That's no problem. And, of course, again, I'm going to repeat it one more time. We are on twitch.tv live, and you can catch it after the fact. A couple of things happening over the holiday vacation. I say holiday vacation, over the Christmas holiday, New Year holiday. And been watching some Netflix. Been catching up on Netflix. Been binge watching. That's for sure. And I caught finally UFC pay-per-view. I'm a big fan of UFC. And I caught an interesting UFC pay-per-view, UFC 232, on December 29th. That was, what was it, Gustafsson? Jones versus Gustafsson. Of course, Jones won. Congratulations. And the second, actually, that was the main event, Jones versus Gustafsson, and it was a co-main event, but the main event that came on before, to me, was the most interesting of the two fights because it was the most anticipated and everybody wanted to see it. And that was the Cyborg, Chris Cyborg, versus Amanda Nunes. And Amanda Nunes, man, just took her out in the first round, and she is now a two-time champion, and she's defending the championship in both weight classes. So, congratulations. That's something I didn't see coming, man, because I had it. I had Chris Cyborg, man, in the first round, and instead it was Amanda Nunes in the first round. Go figure, right? So, forgive me, folks. I'm just trying to get my notes organized here. I'm all over the place a little bit, but we'll get it together here. So, another interesting thing that I saw was you had, and again, I'm not going to touch on it too much because it's a sensitive subject. It's a sore subject to a lot of people. The whole R. Kelly thing going on, man. I've been listening to a lot of radio stations talking their stuff, and it's been, for days, all these radio stations talking about the same thing. R. Kelly, R. Kelly, R. Kelly. And, I think it was back in 2000, this guy was brought up on, charges for coming out with a sex tape. I think the sex tape featured a minor, and he was doing some crude acts. Either way, it's now almost 20 years later, and this guy, this documentary came out, Surviving R. Kelly, on Lifetime, and that thing just, it was, I think, 6 episodes, 6-part series, and it just blew up. It's on every radio station topic. Every radio station's talking about it. You got everybody, the main topic on every radio station is, obviously people shouldn't support the guy because of what he did. We understand that he was a creative, musical, I guess, genius, if you want to call him that. And he created a lot of music. And I know for me, a lot of the music he created puts me in a certain time in the 90s with my wife or, my children, etc. I Believe I Can Fly, Step in the Name of Love. When I hear those songs, they kind of meant something to me. Not because of who sang them, but because the point in time in my life where I was, where that song came out. So you had a lot of people expressing these feelings on radio stations, calling in and expressing those feelings. But, a lot of these radio station guys were bashing these people. And, whatever. But, they're basically saying they don't support the guy. They're not playing his music. And I agree. But it's sad that I can't listen to a song because now that song's going to throw in my mind the type of person R. Kelly was and wasn't a great person, man, obviously. I mean, and I know these are alleged, however you want to pronounce it, victims that came out against him. And that's a sad thing, Hopefully justice is served if this goes to trial again, if there are charges brought up and justice is served, man. But, if this guy was who he was or who they're claiming he was a monster. And, it doesn't look too much in his favor just from back in the 90s, man. The guy was, I think, 28 years old. He was dating 15-year-old Aaliyah. That, in a nutshell, kind of disgusts you from day one. And, you kind of, I don't know. It's just mind-blowing how 20 years later this guy's still a topic in the same thing, how people overlooked it, how in that documentary so many people who were surrounded by him knew he was doing wrong and didn't even bother speaking out on it, and now they want to jump on the bandwagon because one person comes out. Now they all want to jump out. Now they all want it, but, again, it is not that they all want something. It's just shameful of them to not come out and say something when it was happening, because it was revolving around the millions of dollars this guy was making and paying people. But anyway, moving on. I had a little something I was going to read, but I'm not even going to entertain that. But again, it was just interesting to see that happening. It was interesting to see all that unfold. So, another other topics here. Not too much motorcycle news on this broadcast today. Well, it is motorcycles and more. But there's going to be a lot more and more. I'll leave the motorcycle part for the end. So, another funny thing was that a TV star as well. The whole thing with R. Kelly, a musician, and now you got a TV star. So apparently, you all know who Carlton is, right? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Carlton, Alfonso Ribeiro. The dancing Carlton. Oh, man, I caught a kick out of this one. The guy's suing Fortnite, the famous game that's played right here on Twitch by thousands, maybe millions, okay? It's one of the top grossing games in the world today. Fortnite is being sued by Carlton, Alfonso Ribeiro, for the little dance that supposedly he claims he made up. Waiting for my notes to load up here so I can read a little excerpt that I have here. Fresh Prince star Alfonso Ribeiro sues Fortnite over use of dance his character Carlton popularized. By Amy Vera and Chris Boyette at CNN Entertainment. Now, this came out the 18th of December, but again, I put all these notes together over the holidays. And it was funny to see because the guy's claiming that he invented this dance. I don't really think he invented it, but he might have maybe made it a little famous after the fact because people know it as the Carlton because he did it on the show. But again, I just got a kick out of it. According to CNN, Carlton wants his dance back. The actor Alfonso Ribeiro is suing to stop video game developers from selling a dance popularized by his Fresh Prince of Bel-Air character. In two lawsuits filed Monday, this is past tense, Ribeiro said the companies have unfairly profited from using his likeness and from exploiting his protected creative expression. The suit names Fortnite developer Epic Games, Inc. and Take-Two Interactive Software, Inc., creator of NBA 2K series and several of its subsidiaries. Epic Games declined to comment on the lawsuit. Take-Two Games did not respond to a request for comment. So, Ribeiro is best known for Carlton Banks from the 1990s hit TV show Fresh Prince. Okay. And he says in court filings that he is I hate these words. He is inextricably linked to the dance, a joyous arm swing boogie often performed to Tom Jones. It's not unusual. The lawsuit says Ribeiro first performed the dance during the show in their 1991 Christmas episode. 27 years later, the dance remains distinctive, immediately recognizable, and inextricably linked to Ribeiro's identity, celebrity, and likeness, the lawsuits say. Ribeiro also performed this signature dance during his 2014 run on Dancing with the Stars. So even Ribeiro claims himself, and I don't have the exact details, but you can find it all over YouTube. He even admits that he ripped this dance off of two people. Let me see here. It doesn't say. But this ain't the only lawsuit that the Fortnite game has. Is not so much the Fortnite game. It might be the Fortnite game. Ribeiro is not the only celebrity with a signature dance to sue the makers of the popular Fortnite game. Attorney David L. Heitch says, and his firm is also representing rapper 2 Milli and Russell Honing, also known as the Backpack Kid, in lawsuits against Epic Games over Fortnite's use of their signature dances with the game. So, I don't know, man. I just got a kick out of it. Carlton suing Fortnite, one of the most biggest blockbuster games in history. And it's a free game at that. I think what pays for this game is the in-game purchases that all the kids make to buy accessories for the game, etc., and advertising. And it made billions. So it was just funny to see this article, man. I know I'm blabbing on. Amazon. I want to say that Amazon slayed it this year. So much that I think the last podcast I told you I was going to research and see how much Amazon profited this year or how well did they do, man, because I've been watching the way these guys maneuver, man, and these guys were all over the place, man. You know, between UPS and FedEx, it was amazing to see the movement. I want to say, I stood home that week, or some days. There was a couple of days I stood home from work and worked from the house. Thankfully, I have that luxury sometimes. And I must have heard the UPS truck go by my house half a dozen times, and the other half a dozen was a FedEx truck. And you also have private delivery for Amazon. It's gotten that crazy that now you can make your own business out of delivering Amazon packages. Oh, yeah, it's gotten that bad. It's gotten that, popular. And I heard that Amazon is also coming out with their own delivery service, similar to FedEx and UPS, because they just have that much going on. And I just heard this week, and it's funny. I know I'm like deviating from it, but it's Amazon related. I heard the owner of Amazon is now getting divorced, and he's got to pay his wife like billions of dollars. I wonder if that's going to change things for him. I'm checking our feed here for iTunes. All right, we're going good. Again, this lighting, man, is killing me. I wish this lighting was a little bit dimmer. I got to fool around with this. Yeah, see, that looks perfect, but I got to do something as a whole. Anyway, so I decided, how did Amazon do for the 2018 season, man? Let me look up some of these things. So according to Zax.com, okay, Amazon continues to gain significant momentum in this holiday season, courtesy of robust e-commerce platform and aggressive retail strategies. Don't ask me what that means, man. So the company pretty much witnessed a strong performance of its own brands like Amazon Essentials, Good Threads, Daily Ritual, Amazon Basics, Amazon Elements, and many, many more during the season. Notably, the company experienced a robust sales in products such as toys, electronics, and fashion. Okay. Additionally, Amazon devices exhibited more sales compared with the year-ago period. All the new Echo Dot, Fire Stick TV 4K with Alexa voice remote, and Echo products were some of the best-selling devices. That is true because I got two of them myself. I got a sale I think it was $29 or $39 to Amazon Fire Stick TVs for I think it was $39.99 or something like that. My wife picked up two of them. I got one that I use right here on the monitor in the studio while I'm setting up, and it works perfect. I mean, I know those things sold like hotcakes. I passed the information along to coworkers, and I know they were buying like crazy. I know. I mean, it's ridiculous, and I'm sure they made a killing, man. Let me see here. The company made shopping easier for the customers by equipping Alexa with shopping skills. Also, utilization rate of Alexa shopping tripled this year from a year ago, or from the year ago tally. Right, I think I got another article here with some more statistics or facts. So, CNET.com. Amazon breaks holiday sales record again in 2018. More items were ordered worldwide than ever before, the retail giant touts, among the highest in its annual post-Christmas data drop. This article provided by Rich Brown of CNET.com, printed December 26th. And I'm just trying to get a list of items together, at least totals. Amazon also brags about sales figures for Amazon devices, including Amazon Echo, Fire, and Kindle products for the 2018 holiday period. The company says it sold millions more Amazon devices this year. Sold millions more Amazon devices this year than in the past. It lists the Echo Dot, the entry-level Alexa speaker, at the top of its list. That's true. The Echo Dot was, I think, $29.99 or $19.99. I mean, it was bananas. Fire Stick 4K TV. What else? Among other statistics, Amazon set more than 100 million timers. Come on, I'm trying to get dollars. Dollars. I know I had it here somewhere. Okay. I guess I don't have the dollar amounts. I could have sworn I did. It also got 4 million new or 4 million new or trial Prime subscriptions in 1 week. That's crazy. Over 1 billion Prime shipments globally. It gave no global number this year. I'm sure if I re-looked up some more stuff, I can find out what the tallies were now. This company's slated, man. This guy's like filthy rich. The stock for Amazon is in the thousands, I think. The company's strength in online retailing. Per a report from MasterCard, online sales improved 19.1% from November 1st, 2018 to December 24th. It doesn't go on to say what the actual earnings were. Okay. We'll find out. But bottom line, Amazon killed it. Something that this guy started on a desktop computer like what, 20 years ago? 1990 something. They see the guy. I see that they had the guy on a computer. And look at what it is today. $1 billion industry. Amazing. Another thing that I kind of researched over the holiday was how big the video and gaming the streaming industry is today. I mean, look at Twitch.tv. Twitch.tv, you surf that thing, and there's a lot of video gamers on there. And a lot of podcast shows doing, stuff that's, more advanced than this. I'm just doing a camera and there's a little studio here, some logos. But, you got guys that are doing full-blown productions on this thing, and it's blowing up. LOL Gaming, what's happening, man? I see you in the chat room. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Just want to say what's up. Tell me where you're from, man. If you got pictures from your bike, if you ride motorcycle and you got pictures, the Cycleshack podcast at gmail.com. Put down where you're from. And so check this out. It's a little fact here. Video game live streaming. It's like the most popular thing out today. My kids do it. I mean, you go to YouTube, you go to twitch.tv, and you see to me, the one thing I don't do is what other parents do. And I'm not knocking other parents. Different strokes for different folks. I'm not saying other parents do, but you hear the cliche statements all the time. Oh, these kids are glued to the TV and glued to video games. Well, to tell you the truth, with so much that's going on out there, I'd rather have my kid at home where I can see what he's doing, as long as he's not a hermit, and sometimes your kids tend to be. But, they could be out there doing worse. But anyway, the way they just wrap their mind around these things and the different productions they do on TV with this stuff is crazy. And I say TV, but it's streaming on a computer. And, parents today or people, it's not about not getting involved. I mean, as long as you're wary and you're watching what they're doing and monitoring it, it should be fine. You just got to be real careful. But again, in watching what these kids do, it's amazing. It's amazing what these kids can do from their computer. The productions that they put on and the stuff you see. I mean, it's gotten to the point that I barely watch TV anymore. I have my Apple TV set up in my living room. I put my recliner back. If they're not giving nothing on the idiot box section of the TV, which is the cable, I go and I turn on the Apple TV. I go to YouTube and I just start looking at all the highlighted stuff. And I start watching all this stuff that people are streaming out there. The productions and shows that are being put on YouTube and Twitch TV. It's amazing. And including podcasting. Podcasting has become the future, and it's side by side with video game streaming. I mean, look what I'm doing right now. I'm on a video game TV app, and I'm broadcasting a podcast. I would have never thought I'd be doing this 2 or 3 years ago. And it's become really big, alongside social media. The whole social media thing, I mean, again, you got people, again, I'm not knocking people because you have every right to have your opinion on things. And there are people that say, well, you should turn off take the phone and put it down. You don't have to be on the Instagram and the Facebook all the time and XYZ and da-da-da-da-da. And life doesn't revolve around it. Look, it's a form of a combination of news, entertainment, and social media. It's a social platform. So if you use it for what it's intended, you can be safe. Of course, I agree you shouldn't be blurting your personal life out there, and people only put their highlight reels. But as long as you're not harming anyone and you're not harming yourself in the process, social media can be a useful tool, for promoting a hobby or sharing a hobby, or, again, you use it like newspaper. To me, it's like reading a newspaper. That's how I look at it. I don't see it as dictating my life. You got another thing that this makes me laugh when people say, I have better things to do than to have social media. I don't have a Facebook or an Instagram. Good for you. Great. But I like to know what's out there. I like to keep up with things. So I do have it. To turn around and say that, I got better things to do than be on Facebook all the time. Well, I'm not on Facebook all the time. I don't have that problem. Usually when people make those statements, it's because they've had bad experiences on them. Usually, again, I'm not an expert. I could be wrong. But when people say stuff like that, it's because bad things have happened to them, so they back off. They make those statements. But, I mean, how ridiculous can you get on this thing? I mean, I'm pretty sure you could get really ridiculous, but I don't know, man. It just doesn't rule my life that way. But anyway, getting back to this video game live streaming. Quick fact here. People who live stream their video game play, either by hobby or by profession, are known as streamers. The practice became popular in the mid-2010 on sites such as Twitch and later YouTube. By 2014, Twitch streams had more traffic than HBO's online service. That's crazy. Professional streamers often combine high-level play and entertaining commentary and earn income from sponsors, subscriptions, and donations. Amateur streamers spend long hours competing for an audience. That's crazy. You got here other video game-oriented streaming websites include Mixer, which is owned by Microsoft, Smashcast TV, which was formed after the merge of Ashbu and Hitbox TV, and the South Korea-based Africa TV. Never heard of it, but streamers and viewers register for the free accounts with a service that lets them interact with each other by name and subscribe to or follow specific streamers. Home video game consoles such as the PlayStation 4 and Xbox contain built-in streaming and optional camera integration. Home computers use software such as Open Broadcaster software, which I'm using right now, OBS, or XSplit, to upload a live stream to Twitch servers, which is what I'm doing right now. So it's amazing the way technology's gotten that we're able to do things like this. So it's something that you may want to check out as a hobby, or just, I mean, again, man, I made a hobby of just watching all the shows on this thing. It's endless. It's endless, and it doesn't necessarily have to be live shows. It could be stuff that's previously recorded. You know, I'm broadcasting live, but I can watch this anytime I want. It's amazing. The stuff you see kids do out there with this stuff is really, really amazing. Getting my notes again together here. So, check them out one day when you're bored and you got the time on a Saturday night, like tonight. Check out twitch.tv, even YouTube, man. That's even, I won't say more popular, because for the video game streamers, twitch.tv is very popular. But they also put their stuff on YouTube. Check it out. You see all the stuff on there, you'll be amazed. So now, another topic I want to bring up that pissed me off. And before I touch this topic, I'm going to say again, I'm not big into discussing politics with anybody, because I'm not smart when it comes to politics. Let's face it, I'm going to call it what it is. I personally think government shouldn't be too involved in a lot. You know, government should only be for certain things in one's life. Okay? Other than that, everything should be left to the private sector. When you have too much government interfering, that's a problem. But that's only my opinion. And I am not, this isn't a bash against Democrat, Republican, Independent, liberal, left-wing, right-wing. I could care less, okay? The one thing that does piss me off, but I heard an opinion, and I kind of agree with that opinion. After I heard it, I said, you know what, that person's right. Anyway, 2019 government shutdown. Really? What could this mean for your income tax returns? Well, it means, guess what, folks? It is January 12th. The strike, the government shutdown is still happening. Well, let me tell you, the money is still rolling. So when they say it's shut down, it's not completely shut down. Let's not be naive here. Washington is not going to stop that cash flow from coming in, baby. They're still taking your tax money. The money's still coming in. They're just sitting there and not doing their jobs and not letting government things happen. The government services that they give to us are not happening. But for the most part, the money's still rolling in. If we stop that money from rolling in, guess what? We go to jail. But they can stop providing us with our services that our taxes are paying for, all because they're not getting their way. To me, that's ridiculous. And again, I could care less what they're arguing about. They're arguing about a wall. I could care less. You're shutting down government, but you're still taking our tax dollars. You're not stopping that. You're not stopping that from circulating. That cash cow's still coming in. And if I stopped or tried to stop paying that, oh, you're shutting down? Well, guess what? I'm not paying my taxes. I'm not allowed to do that because I have to pay taxes, right? I'd go to jail. So, I don't know. That's just the way I see it. How the government shutdown will affect tax returns and refunds. This is according to Vox.com by German Lopez, January 2nd. You should be able to file a tax return, but don't expect those funds or refunds as long as the shutdown drags on. Federal government remains partially shut down as President, or it's actually shut down now, as President Donald Trump refuses to sign a spending deal that doesn't include $5 billion for the wall that at the U.S.-Mexico border. But as Americans start to think about filing their taxes, they may wonder, how will this affect tax returns and refunds? Excuse me. So, the short version, if the federal government shutdown doesn't last much longer, now this is past tense because we're already on the 12th. This article was from the 2nd. So this is past tense. We're past this and it's still shut down. The short version, if the federal government shuts down, if the federal government shutdown, doesn't last much longer, that is, if it ends in the next couple of weeks, before mid-January, there shouldn't be a noticeable effect on getting your tax refund or any other processing. That's because the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, which handles federal taxes, wasn't planning on the tax season fully starting until later January anyway. Once the IRS begins accepting tax returns, you'll still be able to mail them in, submit them online, even if the government is shut down. Again, they're going to take all this stuff. Your taxes, it's just going to sit there. So it's like mailing something to someone. Someone takes it, puts it on a desk on an inbox, and it just sits there until someone gets to it. Well, if someone gets to it is when the strike's over. But if the shutdown drags longer, there could be delays and other serious problems at the IRS. For one, the IRS contingency plan only explained how the agency would handle the first 5 business days through December 31st of a shutdown. As the shutdown lasts longer, the agency will have to rework its plan and head into a more uncertain territory that could demand, for example, that the agency employees show up to work without pay. So that's what's happening right now in a lot of government jobs. They expected everybody to show up for the first week of the shutdown, which was this past week. Friday, yesterday, they didn't get paid. They didn't get paychecks. But they were expected to work for free, especially TSA, our air traffic safety guys, airport security. So you can't go Basically, everything in Washington is shut down. Everything that's ran by the government is shut down completely. Okay? Monuments, okay? Veteran memorials, all that stuff. So anybody going to veteran memorials, guess what? If the government shut down, you can't go see that memorial. So, again, taxpayers can mail in their taxes, but nothing is going to be done with them. So, yeah. Expect to see your income tax returns. If this continues, it could be into the summer months. And that's okay. A lot of people don't get tax returns. All right, we had a quick little glitch here. All right, we're good. Seems like we're good. All right, moving on. Sorry. I just noticed on the feed that we were interrupted a second. Could have been something with the internet. Doesn't matter. So yeah, that's just chaps my ass, so to speak. You know, the government wants to shut down, and we have to still pay taxes. So there should be something that says, for every day the government is shut down, you don't pay a day of tax. Your tax doesn't move, and we should be able to keep those taxes for the days that they're shut down. Because if you shut down, we should shut down, right? Obviously. Makes sense to me. And if the shutdown lasts 2 weeks, then I shouldn't pay 2 weeks' worth of taxes. Why should you still take my taxes for those 2 weeks? Or 2 months? Or 6 months? But again, it's just me. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know much about politics. It is what it is. Last but not least, I'm down to the only motorcycle thing we have, the only motorcycle discussion I got for today. I could tell you, man, I was looking at my bike yesterday, was it? I was out and back, walking around with the dog. It was freezing. It's been windy up here in New York. I'm in the upstate New York, about an hour and a half outside of New York City, north. And it's been really, really windy. And I went outside because I saw where I have my bike stored was moving all over the place. And I can't wait to ride, man. I got some real bad cabin fever. I can't wait to get on that bike and go. I was actually imagining myself riding today. I mean, I could see it. I could see it. I just want to get on the road. And, I've been watching the forums, and right now everybody's talking about the Livewire bike that Harley Davidson just released. And I know I keep mentioning Harley Davidson a lot. I show preference to them a lot because it's my favorite brand of bikes, or one of my favorites anyway. And I own a Harley, so I'm monitoring the company because the company's actually doing fairly bad. And there's a slight chance that if the 2019 year does not go good for Harley Davidson, it's not going to be a very good thing for them. And I hope things get better. But when I saw what I saw this week that I'm going to talk about, it really upset me and it really pissed me off because they're not going in the direction that you know what? I hope I'm wrong. Let's just put it that way. But let's get with it. Harley Davidson released their pricing for their new electric motorcycle called the Livewire. And I posted some pictures on the Cycleshack podcast Facebook page. And this thing looks like a small cruiser. It looks like an overgrown Sportster, so to speak, but in more of a sporty fashion. It has that sport bike-like look. And it has like an artificial tank on it that I'm sure has electronics. But I was disappointed because I thought this was going to be a bike that was going to set them. I personally don't think electric bikes are going to be the future of motorcycling. I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't even think electric cars are going anywhere. Batteries are a problem, okay? That's number one. You're not going to stray away from the internal combustion engine and fuel completely to go on batteries. I don't care if batteries run for 800 hours or that you can get 800 miles out of it. You know what I mean? The bottom line is that batteries are just, they can be unstable. Anyway, moving forward, I don't believe in the battery technology for the motorcycle industry. Moving forward, when they announced the price for Livewire, I was so pissed off because, again, Harley is manufacturing something that's not going to really appeal to the younger generation. I guess you're going to have tree huggers buying this thing. I don't know. I don't know who's going to buy this, personally. Other than a collector who just wants to say, ooh, who's got money to blow and say, I want to have that just to have it in the stable of Harleys. But it's their first battery-operated motorcycle. It's called the Livewire. It's on HarleyDavidson.com. It's the loudest sound you will hear. Your heart will be racing. Will be your heart racing. Coming in August 2019, Harley-Davidson's Livewire. They have a photo on their website, Harley-Davidson, Harley-Davidson.com. It's not being released till August of 2019. The model they show is a prototype model. Production model features may vary. And they're not yet available for sale, according to Harley-Davidson.com. You can pre-order. But here's what it says about the bike. 0 to 60 in under 3.5 seconds. Well, that's great. I don't think I need to go that fast. Okay? That's great. It can do that. It can go 0 to 60 in under 3.5 seconds. I'd like to keep my face intact. Okay? Get instantaneous power the moment you twist the throttle. No clutch to release. No gears to run through. All you do is flick your wrist and take off. Well, that's great. That's what I expected it to do, right? Go. An estimated 110-mile range. That's garbage. The Livewire motorcycle features a high-voltage battery that produces incredible acceleration. It means plenty of range and torque on tap for unlocking the city. Well, at 110-mile range, it's, that ain't the greatest. It also says here 2 easy ways to charge. Use the onboard level 1 charger and power cord to connect to any standard household outlet and get a full charge overnight. Now I'm assuming that's a standard 3-prong 110-volt outlet from your house, which is cool. Again, if this thing is like a novelty thing or an accessory bike or a bike that you're just going to have as a secondary bike to fool around town with, okay. For a faster charge, visit a public level 3 DC fast charge station. HD Connect service. Check this out. Meet the world's most connected motorcycle experience with cellular telematics connectivity powered by Panasonic. You can connect remotely through your smartphone using the latest version of the Harley-Davidson app. Check the bike's vitals like battery charge status. See its location on a map. Get security alerts if it's bumped or tampered with. Great. Three color options. I haven't told you the price yet for this thing. Let me read a couple of facts here on their fact page, and I'll get to the price. When will it be available? August 2019 at select dealerships. What's the range of the Livewire? 110 miles. What are the charging options? Well, you just heard the 2 charging options I mentioned. But if you didn't, it's the level 1 standard household outlet, okay, for an overnight charge. Or Livewire can be connected to a level 2 charge unit, but we'll be charged at the level 1 rate, okay. Level 3, DC fast charge, 192-mile range per hour on this charge. What kind of connector does Livewire motorcycle require to use DC fast charging? North America CC Combo 1J. I don't know what the heck this thing is talking about. You know what I mean? What is HD Connect service? It's a technology that provides cellular connectivity that can link a Livewire owner with their motorcycle through their smartphone using the latest version of the Harley-Davidson app. Will there be an annual subscription with the HD Connect? It will be free to the owners. Without the subscription is required. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, hold on. Okay. HD Connect will be free for the first year. After that, there will be a subscription fee. It doesn't say what that subscription fee is. To me, I think that's garbage. So you can't properly communicate with your bike and see its vitals using this app unless you have a subscription to that service. Will HD Connect be used to gather vehicle data? You know what? You know what they want for this bike? I think it's disgusting that Harley-Davidson would come out with something like this and charge this much for it. At first, I thought when this bike came out, hey, you know what? I'd like this thing to cost 10 grand. I'd like this thing to cost as much as a Sportster 1200, 10 to 12 grand. I said, you know what? It'll realistically, that's what I wanted it to cost, but realistically, it would probably be around 18 grand, right? They'll charge maybe anywhere between 16, 18 grand for this bike. And I thought I was being generous. They got this thing priced at starting at $29,799, $30,000 for a battery on wheels. That doesn't sound like a bike. It doesn't sound like a motorcycle. It doesn't sound like a Harley. I think it's a cool little invention for those who will have it. But you're going to have this thing for $30,000. That's ridiculous. And this is why Harley is going to fail. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I am. But it's stuff like this that makes Harley look bad. Because this thing costs I could buy a used, for $30,000, I could buy a 2-year-old CVO and have more enjoyment out of it. Because a brand new CVO costs about $40,000 to $42,000, which I think that's ridiculous also. So, I mean, come on, Harley, wake up. So you got a few bicycles, battery-operated bicycles, that are going to come out for what, college students in the city? Give me a break. Start making some good, affordable cruisers. Like Honda, like Kawasaki, like Suzuki, like Yamaha. When are you going to enter the $6,000 to $9,000 market with a nice cruiser? Why does a 1,300, 1,200 cc bike have to cost $20,000? I'm exaggerating. None of them cost that much. I'm just saying, come on. Why does a fat boy have to be $18,000, $17,000, $18,000, whatever it is? It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I don't see, the bike looks nice, but unless you're a collector, unless you're a tree hugger that's into this stuff, I don't see anybody buying this. I really don't. I don't see this as being successful. I'm mad as hell that they came out with this. Not that they came out with it. I'm sorry. I'm upset as hell because they're charging this much for this. You got to be kidding me. 30 grand, I could buy me a couple of nice bikes. Not a couple, that's two. A few nice bikes. I can get me 3 decent bikes for $30,000. Okay? All 3 of you want to go used, I could probably get me 5 for 30 grand. But I want to ride a Harley. I love Harleys. But I'm getting tired of paying 20 grand for them. I'm getting tired of paying 20, 25, almost 30 grand for a bike. That's why everybody runs to the used market and then they complain because they don't make any money off the used market like that. often make something we can afford, so we want to keep buying. Unbelievable. I think it's ridiculous. It's crazy. And I don't know. I don't think people are going to go for it, man. I don't see people going for it. So that's all I pretty got. That's all I pretty got. Hey, I'm so mad. I'm stumbling over myself. So that's all I got. Check us out at the Cycleshack podcast at gmail.com. Send me questions. Send me your feedback on any of the topics that I mentioned today on the podcast. And even on Facebook, if you want to chime in at Facebook at the Cycleshack podcast, click on the link on the webpage and see the blog as well on the website. The Cycleshack podcast at gmail.com. Questions, comments, send me bike pictures, guys, and I'll post them up on the Facebook and website page. Give me a little bio of yourself or the bike or anything we talk about here. Mention it on there, and we'll open up a dialogue on it. Thanks to anyone tuning in on Twitch TV. This will be up on Twitch permanently as well after tonight, so it can be viewed at any time. Thanks for if you're downloading on iTunes. Thanks a lot, or any other podcast platform. Thank you again. I appreciate your support, folks. Again, I mean, I don't come up with much material. It doesn't, I spend a few bucks to make this happen, and you know what? It's a hobby. I like it, and I don't think I'll be putting a Patreon page because I don't really need donations for what I do. I just get up on here and flap my gums and talk about what I want. Am I going to be deviating from the motorcycle subject? Of course I am, like I did today. Most of everything I want to say 90%, 95% of what I spoke about today had nothing to do with motorcycles up until the end here. But that's what the show's about. It's called the Cycleshack, but it's motorcycles and more. So, again, email me. Feel free to email me. Check the email there below. And thank you to the sponsors once again. Oof, these things are acting up big time, man. Flipboard.com. And Anchor.fm, the easiest way to podcast. Check them out, Anchor.fm. That's what we are hosting the podcast on audio. Anchor.fm has been pushing it through to about 10 different platforms, and it's going great. Matter of fact, let me tell you what platforms I'm on so that it's more convenient for you if you wanted to listen to them on those platforms. So the distribution for this podcast right now is on, of course, the home platform, Anchor.fm, Apple Podcasts, or iTunes. Whoa, we had a little disruption there. It's available on Anchor.fm, Apple Podcasts, or iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Castbox, Google Play Music, Overcast, Pocket Casts, or Radio Public. And again, we're getting some glitches here on the video feed, but that's all right. So we're out of here, folks. Cycleshack podcast at gmail.com. Thank you very much. Send me anything you want me to discuss for show topics. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching on twitch.tv. We'll catch you guys next time. It's the Cycleshack. I'm Ivan Rodriguez from all the way up in the Hudson Valley in Animal House Studios. Thanks for listening.